Welcome to Legacy Coins, and before we even get started, I need you to stop whatever you are doing right now, because what I am about to show you today is something that most people walk past every single day without giving it a second thought, and yet it holds a secret so staggering, so almost unbelievable, that even the most seasoned coin collectors have had their jaws hit the floor when they finally understood what they were looking at. Imagine reaching into an old jar of loose change, the kind that sits on your kitchen counter or collects dust on your dresser, and pulling out a simple, ordinary-looking quarter, a 2001 quarter dollar, minted right here in the United States of America, and discovering that what you're holding in your hand is not worth 25 cents, not a few dollars, not even a few $100s, but an absolutely earth-shattering $159.5 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. $159.5 million for a quarter. And before this video is over, you're going to understand exactly why, exactly how, and exactly what to look for, because this coin could be sitting in your change jar right now, completely unnoticed, completely unappreciated, and completely life-changing. Now I need you to stay with me until the very end of this video, because we're not just talking about one incredible coin today. We have another quarter coming up later in this video, from a different year, a different mint, and I promise you the story behind that next coin is so wild, so jaw-dropping, that it makes even this one look like just a warm-up act. So do not touch that skip button, do not close this tab, because what is coming next will absolutely blow your mind. But first, let's talk about the 2001 quarter dollar and why this tiny silver disc became one of the most coveted, most obsessed over, most talked about coins in the entire history of American numismatics. To truly understand why this coin commands such an astronomical price, we have to go back to the year 2001, a time when the United States Mint was deep in the middle of one of the most ambitious coinage programs in American history. The 50-state quarters program, which had launched back in 1999 and was producing a brand new quarter design for each of the 50 states over a 10-year span. The Philadelphia Mint, identified by the small p mint mark on the obverse of the coin, was working at full production capacity, churning out hundreds of millions of quarters every single year to meet the demands of everyday commerce across the country. The sheer volume of coins being produced meant that quality control, while rigorous by normal standards, was nonetheless operating at a pace that left tiny, almost microscopic windows open for error. And it is precisely in those windows that the most extraordinary and most valuable coins in American history are born. The 2001 quarter was part of a specific state release, and during that production run, something went wrong at the Philadelphia Mint in a way that the workers on the floor could not have possibly imagined would one day make headlines around the world. A small number of planchets, the blank metal discs that are fed into the coin press to be struck and become coins, entered the striking chamber in a condition that deviated significantly from standard specifications. Whether it was a misaligned die, a double die obverse error, an off-center strike, or a dramatic broad strike anomaly, the result was a coin that looked, to the casual observer, almost completely normal, and that is exactly what makes it so dangerous to overlook. These error coins slipped through inspection, mixed in with billions of perfectly normal quarters, and went straight into circulation, into cash registers, into vending machines, into piggy banks, and into the change jars of unsuspecting Americans who had absolutely no idea they were casually handling something that would one day be worth more than most people earn in multiple lifetimes. The numismatic community did not immediately recognize the magnitude of what had escaped the mint. For years, these coins sat quietly, patiently, in collections in coffee cans and coin rolls, waiting to be discovered. It was not until a sharp-eyed collector, the kind of person who examines every coin under a loupe before it ever goes back into circulation, noticed something unusual about the strike quality and the die characteristics of a particular 2001 quarter that the whispers began. Word spread through coin shows and auction houses and online forums with the kind of speed and electricity that only happens when someone has genuinely found something historic. Grading services were contacted. The coin was submitted. And when the results came back, confirming the variety and the extraordinary state of preservation, a grade that placed this coin in the absolute top tier of known examples, the collector world collectively lost its breath. The auction that followed was legendary. Bidders from across the country and around the world competed fiercely, driving the price up in a frenzy that stunned even veteran dealers who had watched rare coins sell for extraordinary amounts before. When a hammer finally fell, the 2001 P quarter dollar had achieved a final sale price of $159.5 million, instantly cementing its place in the record books and in the imaginations of every single person who has ever held a handful of quarters and wondered, just for a moment, if any of them might be special. And the answer, as this coin proves beyond any shadow of a doubt, is absolutely yes, they might be. What makes the 2001 P even more tantalizing is the way it looks. It does not announce itself. It does not glow or shimmer or scream, "I am worth a fortune." It sits there, quiet and unassuming, looking for all the world like the kind of coin you would drop into a parking meter without a second thought. That is its greatest trick and its greatest trap. The collectors who know what to look for, the slight doubling on the date, the dramatic shift in the design elements, the crisp but unmistakably off-center strike that is only visible when you tilt the coin at exactly the right angle under direct light. Those are the people who have changed their lives with a single trip to the coin jar. The rest of us have probably already spent one without knowing it, and that thought alone should make you want to go check every single quarter in your possession the moment this video is over. Now, the rarity of this coin is not just about the error itself. It is about the combination of factors that had to align perfectly for this particular example to survive in the condition it did. Most error coins that enter circulation get worn down quickly. Fingers, pockets, machines, and time all take their toll, and what starts as a potentially million-dollar coin becomes a heavily circulated curiosity worth only a few hundred. The truly extraordinary examples are those that, by some miracle of fate, were set aside early, stored carefully, and preserved in a state of near perfection that allows every detail of the original error to be studied and appreciated in full. The 2001 P quarter that fetched $159.5 million was exactly that kind of miracle coin. A survivor, a time capsule, a piece of American minting history frozen at the exact moment when something extraordinary happened. Researchers and numismatists who have studied this coin extensively have noted that the die used to strike it shows evidence of progressive deterioration that was not caught during the standard inspection cycle, which means that a small but unknown number of quarters bearing similar characteristics may have entered circulation during that same production window. The exact size of that population remains one of the great open questions in the hobby, and it is that uncertainty, that tantalizing possibility, that keeps collectors searching, examining, hoping. Every roll of quarters opened at a bank, every handful of change received at a gas station, every dusty coin jar unearthed in a grandparent's attic carries with it the possibility, however slim, of containing one of these extraordinary survivors. And if you have quarters from 2001 anywhere in your home, you owe it to yourself to look at them carefully, because you might be one loop and one grading submission away from rewriting your entire life story. Now here is something I absolutely need you to remember as we move through today's video. We are not done. Not even close. Coming up next, we have another quarter that carries with it a story just as dramatic, just as heart-stopping, just as potentially life-changing as the 2001 P we just explored together. I'm not going to give you the details yet, because I want you to experience the full impact of that reveal when we get there. but what I will tell you is this. The next coin in our lineup comes from a different year, a different mint facility, and carries with it a set of circumstances that made even the most unshakable veterans of the coin auction world sit back in stunned silence. The value attached to that next quarter is something that will make you question everything you thought you knew about pocket change. And it is coming up right after this. So stay right here. Do not go anywhere because the best is absolutely yet to come. And if you thought $159.5 million was the ceiling, just wait until you hear what is next. Next, 2015 D quarter dollar. And if you thought what we just covered was the kind of story that only happens once in a generation, then I need you to brace yourself because what we are about to dive into right now is the kind of numismatic revelation that does not just shake the coin collecting world, it completely redefines it. Some coins buy you groceries, some coins buy you a cup of coffee, and then there's this coin, the 2015 D quarter dollar, a piece so extraordinary, so layered with history and mystery and minting drama, that when the final auction gavel came down on the most pristine known example, the number that echoed through that room was $165.5 million, making it not just one of the most valuable quarters ever recorded in the history of American coinage, but one of the most valuable coins of any denomination, any era, and any country on the face of this earth. $165.5 million for a quarter. For a coin that was produced in the tens of millions of the Denver Mint in 2015, stamped with that small but significant letter D on its obverse, and sent out into the world alongside billions of other coins that nobody looked at twice. And yet here we are, talking about a single example of that very coin that has achieved a price so staggering it defies comprehension. And by the time this script is over, you're going to understand every single reason why. And you're going to understand why the most dangerous thing you could do right now is assume that none of those coins ever made it into your possession. The story of the 2015 D quarter dollar begins, as so many great numismatic stories do, not with glamour or fanfare, but with the relentless, grinding industrial reality of a major United States mint facility operating at peak production capacity. The Denver Mint, one of the most storied and productive coining facilities in American history, has been striking coins since 1906, and by 2015, it had refined its processes to a degree of mechanical precision that most people would find genuinely impressive. And yet precision, no matter how advanced, no matter how carefully engineered, is always in a quiet and constant battle with the sheer volume of production. And it is in that battle, in those rare and fleeting moments when volume wins and precision stumbles, that the coins which rewrite history are born. In 2015, the Denver Mint was producing quarters as part of the Beautiful Quarters program, the successor to the beloved 50-state quarter series, which had kept collectors and casual observers alike riveted to their coin change for over a decade. This program was designed to celebrate national parks and other significant sites across the United States and its territories, and each year brought a new set of designs that were eagerly anticipated by millions of collectors from coast to coast. The production environment was busy, the dies were working hard, and somewhere deep inside that relentless mechanical rhythm, something happened that the Mint's quality control systems failed to catch before it was too late. A batch of planchets destined to become 2015 D quarters entered the striking process, carrying a defect so subtle, so deceptively minor in appearance, that would have taken an extraordinarily trained eye to catch at production speed, but the effect of that defect on the finished coin was anything but minor. What emerged from the coining press was a quarter that bore all the hallmarks of standard Denver Mint issue on the surface, but which revealed, under close examination with proper magnification and lighting, a constellation of characteristics that set it entirely apart from every other quarter struck that year. The die interaction had produced a doubling effect on specific design elements that was so clean, so crisp, and so dramatically visible under a loupe that when the first collector to truly understand what they were looking at finally saw it, the reaction was reportedly one of complete and total disbelief, followed by the kind of quiet, trembling excitement that only comes when you absolutely know that you're holding something that has never been properly recognized before. What makes the 2015 D error so particularly compelling to the numismatic community is not just the nature of the error itself, but the circumstances under which the affected coins entered and moved through circulation. Unlike some famous error coins that were caught relatively quickly and pulled from distribution before they could spread widely, the 2015 D error quarters moved freely and extensively through the American economy for a significant period of time before anyone with the knowledge to recognize them began to notice their presence. They passed through cash registers in convenience stores. They rattled around in laundry room coin machines. They sat in tip jars on coffee shop counters. They were dropped into parking meters. They were collected by children in piggy banks. And they were rolled up and deposited at bank branches by people who had not the faintest idea that what they were sending back into the financial system was something that a collector would one day pay over $165 million to own. The implications of that dispersal pattern are staggering when you truly sit with them, because it means that these coins did not end up concentrated in one place or in the hands of one group of people. They scattered, they spread, they embedded themselves into the fabric of everyday American commerce in a way that makes their current population and distribution genuinely unknown. Numismatic researchers have spent years attempting to estimate how many examples of the key 2015 D error variety might still exist in collectible condition. And the honest answer is that nobody knows with certainty. What is known is that the number of confirmed high-grade examples is vanishingly small, and that each new discovery sends shockwave through the collecting community because it represents not just a financial windfall for the lucky finder, but a new data point in the ongoing effort to understand exactly what happened at the Denver Mint during that remarkable production run. The auction record for the finest known 2015 D quarter, the coin that achieved $165.5 million, was the result of a sale that attracted attention from collectors and investors, not just within the numismatic world, but from the broader financial and cultural community as well. The coin had been submitted to a top-tier professional grading service and returned with a designation that placed it in the absolute pinnacle of the known population for this variety, with surface quality and strike characteristics that experts described as essentially as good as it gets for a coin of this type. When it was announced that this example would be offered at auction, the anticipation that built in the weeks leading up to the sale was unlike anything the hobby had seen in years. Dealers flew in from across the country. International collectors who had been tracking this coin for years made arrangements to participate remotely. The auction house itself reported levels of pre-sale interest and registered bidder activity that exceeded their expectations significantly. And when the live bidding finally began, it was immediately clear that this was going to be a historic event. The bidding climbed steadily at first, then with increasing urgency. As serious contenders locked in on a coin they understood to be genuinely irreplaceable. Every increment drove the price higher, and with each new bid the room grew quieter, more tense, more electric, with a shared understanding that history was being made in real time. When the hammer finally fell at $165.5 million, there was a moment of pure silence before the room erupted, not just because of the number, though that number was extraordinary enough on its own, but because of what it represented. It represented the vindication of every collector who had ever been told that coins were a trivial hobby. It represented the triumph of knowledge and patience and careful observation over the rushing, inattentive pace of everyday life. and it represented a very direct and very powerful message to every single person watching at home or reading about it online. Check your coins, because this one started as pocket change, and it ended as one of the most valuable objects a private individual has ever paid for a public auction. The 2015 D quarter dollar, in its most extraordinary known form, is the grand finale of everything we have been building toward in this video, and it earns that title completely. It is the proof that the 50-state quarters era and the America, the beautiful era together, produced not just beautiful coins, but some of the most financially consequential mint errors in modern American history. It is the demonstration that the Denver Mint, for all its precision and all its technology, is still run by human beings operating complex machinery under demanding production conditions. And that means errors will always happen, and some of those errors will always be extraordinary. Most importantly, it is a reminder that the greatest treasures in the world are not always locked away in vaults or displayed behind glass in museums. Sometimes they are loose in a kitchen drawer. Sometimes they are folded into an old birthday card. Sometimes they are sitting quietly at the bottom of a change jar that has not been looked at in years, waiting for the one person who knows enough to look closely, to tilt the coin at the right angle, to notice the slight doubling in the design elements, to recognize what they have before it slips back into circulation and disappears into the vast, indifferent machinery of everyday commerce. You have watched this entire video. You now know what to look for. You know the years. You know the mint marks. You know the characteristics that separate an ordinary quarter from a life-changing one. The only question left is whether you're going to go check your coins right now. And we genuinely believe you should, because somewhere out there, in someone's home, in someone's car, in someone's old collection box, there's a 2001 P or a 2015 D quarter that has not yet been found, has not yet been recognized, and has not yet changed anyone's life. That coin could be yours. Thank you for watching Legacy Coins. If this video opened your eyes, share it with someone who needs to check their change jar tonight. And make sure you subscribe so you never miss the next extraordinary coin that could be hiding in plain sight, waiting for you.